Hey everyone, and I'll take a look at the new Champions League Player of the Week pack on eFootball. I've already reviewed the regular Player of the Week pack that came out this morning. That video is on the channel already if you want to check it out. For this pack, as always, I'll be putting timestamps in the description, so if there's a particular player you want to hear about, click the description and there'll be a link to take you straight to them. So, let's have a look at who we got. It's a pretty strong selection, as you probably expect from a pack that's based on the quarterfinals of the Champions League. As you can see, we've got 3 93 rated players, all the rest are 95, so there's no real duds in here, certainly on the face of it. It just looks like it's a pack of 11 good cards, to be honest. So, yeah, let's have a look. We'll start with Nacho. So, with Nacho, basically what we've got here is a very good centre-back. There's only one real weakness with Nacho, and that's the fact that he's not the tallest. He's only 180 centimetres, so he's about 5'10", 5'11". So that's the bad news, but the good news is they've added aerial superiority, so that certainly negates the issue with his height. They've also given him blocker and weighted pass, I think is new. Outside of that, man marking, interception, blocker, sliding tackle, back clearance. He's basically got the complete set of skills for a centre back, to be honest. And when we look at his attributes, defensively down the middle, pretty strong. Down the right, pretty strong. Down the left, he's got a few in the 70s. Across the board, this is just a good centre back. He's obviously not on the level of the kind of the legend centre backs that we get in those pay to win boxes on Mondays, but I think this is a very good card, to be honest. There was a featured one in the captain's pack, nominating contract one, which obviously you can train, and that goes to a similar level to this, but I think this is a good version of him, to be honest. I don't see any real weakness. It's just a slight lack of height, really, but he does have aerial superiority to make up for that. And he's fairly mobile, got decent pace about him. I think this is just a good, solid centre-back card, to be honest, so I'll be pretty pleased if I get this guy. Then we have Raphinha. So, I've had this kind of rant about quite a few cards in Player of the Week packs lately. They have nerfed him on the ball. He's a winger. That's what he's best at. If you've got a player who's dribbling is what he's best at, and this is a card based on him when he's on form, why would you make him worse at dribbling than he normally is? It's so frustrating. They've made his weaker foot a bit stronger, boosted his attacking awareness a bit, passing and finishing are up a bit. But yeah, why nerf him on the ball? Why would you do that? We've had featured versions of him before, a couple of better ones. This is similar to most in terms of his overall rating, but there are versions of him that are better on the ball, including his GP card. So it's stupid, but they keep doing it for whatever reason. But if we have a look at his skills, they've taken 3 away. They've taken away Scotch move, heel trick, and penalty specialist, and they've given him long range curler, first time shot, and track back. So track back depends if that's your cup of tea, but I think long range curler and first time shot certainly two very nice additions. As a left footer, he does have a very strong weaker foot. As I mentioned, they've made that stronger on this card, so you could play him on the left, have him cutting inside onto his right foot. I think at his best, he's going to be on the right hand side, cutting in onto his natural left foot with first time shot, long range curler, very decent finishing. I think could be very effective when used that way, cutting inside and trying, getting goals for you. It's a pretty good card in the whole. Just like I say, it might be good when you look at it in isolation, but if you're looking at this as a version of a player whose GP card is better on the ball, when that's really the most important set of attributes for the player, to be honest, along with his pace, it's just frustrating they've done that. I don't know why they keep doing that, but they do, and it is what it is. But he does have some improvements, like I say, the awareness, the finishing, a couple of good skills added. Could be a very effective player, used as a wing on either side, I think, especially on the right. But the fact they've made him worse on the ball, I just think it's so silly. It's frustrating, and it kind of spoils the card for me. And now we have Gnabry. So, this is the last of our 93 rated players. This is a pretty good one. It's not the best version of Gnabry. This is going to be the case with the vast majority of these cards, to be honest, in the sense that it's not the best version we've had of the player, but it's certainly a decent one. It's the first time we've had a whole player version of Gnabry. They've made him a whole player. But again, they're like Raphinha, they've nerfed him on the ball. He's not as good on the ball as his GP card. That's based on auto allocation of his training points. Obviously, you can train players how you want, but yeah, not as good on the ball as his GP card can be. But passing's been boosted, finishing's been boosted, bit of a boost to his pace as well, which is good. We look at the skills. They have taken away cut behind and turn and given him first time shot. So he's got a good selection of skills now. First time shot, long range shooting, long range curler. Got soul control is nice. One touch pass. There's no through passing. Bit of a shame. No crossing either. But I think with this guy, you're going to want to make use of the fact he's a whole player, cutting inside from wide midfield, getting into good positions to get goals for you. And he's got a decent pass on him as well. Tidy on the ball, even if he's not as good in the ball as his GP card can be. I know I've mentioned that already, but I'm going to keep ranting about it. The attacking awareness will get to 80 with your game plan boost, so that marries perfectly well with the whole player playing style. Good pace and balance. You can play him as a wide forward either side, but you won't have a play style active. I don't think that's a problem personally, but certainly wide left midfield or right midfield as a whole player. I think the qualities this guy's got, he's really well built for those positions. He's 2-footed. He can score goals. Yeah, he's going to feel pretty nice in the ball. I think this is a very interesting version of Gnabry, to be honest. He's got inconsistent form, something to keep an eye on there. But yeah, on the whole, wide midfielder, whole player, quick and tidy on the ball, bit of end product. I think this is a nice card. And well, now we have our goalkeeper. We've got Neuer. So again, we've had better versions of Neuer. I think there's maybe been one version of Neuer that's been better than this, but this is pretty much par for the course otherwise in terms of feature versions of Neuer. We'll cut to it. The three most important goalkeeper attributes for me: the awareness, the reflexes, the reach, all been boosted a bit. He's okay with the catching and parrying, but could be better. But certainly with the awareness, reflexes, and reach, they're all going to be over 90 with the game plan boost. So he's got fantastic attributes where he really needs them in the most important areas. But of course, when you get a card based on a goalkeeper who's at the top of his game, he can't jump as high as he normally can. There's that Konami logic again. But yeah, distribution, game plan boost, you're going to hit 70 with a lofted pass. That's decent for a goalie, worth keeping that in mind. He's got a low punt and long throw. It's Neuer. We know what to expect from Neuer. It's a good version of Neuer. If you like Neuer, and if you don't have a good version already, good card to pick up. It's a very good goalkeeper. So, on to Griezmann now. So, normally a whole player, they've changed him to a deep lying forward. For me, that's a bad change. He's with that playing style, he's normally got a whole player. I think that suits him really well playing as an SS. I got the nominating contract version of him quite recently, which is a whole player. I love him as an SS. It's been really, really good for me. Deep lying forward, he's just not going to be as aggressive with his attacking movement. Some people will like that playing style. If you like that playing style, good for you, great. But if you don't, it can be frustrating. Like I say, for me, it's frustrating, and that will be an active playing style, SS and centre forward. You can play him wide left or right. I don't personally think he's quite got the pace for that. He's lacking a bit of balance as well. You can play him attacking midfield, though. As deep lying forward, that playing style won't be active anymore, so it'll be interesting to see what he's like as an attacking midfielder with that attacking awareness being as high as it is. I reckon he could be pretty effective as an attacking mid. He should be making some decent movement forward. In terms of his skills, they've taken away Sombrero. I think we can do without that. We've added track back. I always say not everyone's cup of tea. You might like that, you might not. I don't personally like it, but it's not a major issue for me. But they've also added one-touch pass. So I mentioned he could play as an attacking midfielder. He's now got one-touch pass along with through passing that, so that's great. When he's in those deeper areas, getting involved in the build-up, he's certainly got some decent passing on him. Low pass 83. It's not brilliant, but with one-touch pass and through passing, he's got a decent enough pass on him. First-time shot, heel trick's nice. A few skill moves, acrobatic finishing. He's got a good selection of skills. He's fairly tidy on the ball. They've actually slightly nerfed him on the ball. Again, they keep doing this with attacking players. It's not a drastic reduction, but he's not quite as good in the ball as his GP card can be. Aside from that, he's had a fairly reasonable boost across the board. Heading and jumping have had a pretty nice boost, actually. That seems to be the biggest boost they've given him. But, yeah. On the whole, I think, essentially, you know what to expect from Griezmann. If you tried any version of Griezmann before, you know what you're going to get from him. There's nothing particularly different about him. Just they've changed the play style, obviously. But one-touch pass is a nice addition to his skills, though. So, yeah, the play style could be what makes or breaks him for you. But apart from that, it's just a nice version of Griezmann, to be honest. It's a good card. And now we have Gabriel Jesus from Arsenal. So, not changed much in terms of position, playing style. For once, an attacking player, they've actually made him better on the ball. So he's a nice increase on the ball. His dexterity, the attacking awareness, the acceleration, the balance, they've actually been nerfed a bit, which is strange for a striker. They do a lot of strange things with these cards. But yeah, outside of those things, slight boost across the board, really. It's a fairly nice version of him. Again, not the best version we've had, but it's a fairly good one. Looking at the skills, like Griezmann, he's lost Sombrero. He's also lost cut behind and turn. They've added double touch and super sub. So we've got a super sub card here. He's already got the skills he normally has, heading, long range curl, acrobatic finishing, but for a centre forward, you're missing something here, and that's first time shot. So that's a big shame. So not having first time shot and reducing his bounce a bit, finishing 85 is not amazing. It's a bit frustrating. I don't think this is the best centre forward card I've seen. He's a deep line forward as well. That's not everyone's favourite playing style. That is his regular playing style, I think. Again, he's going to drop deep, going to get involved in the build-up a bit, and he's not going to be quite as aggressive with his movement, whereas a goal poacher will be constantly running in behind the centre-backs. Deep line forward won't. He'll just kind of loiter around a bit, and it can be frustrating. If that suits you, good for you. You know, you'd want to probably pair this guy up with a goal poacher, maybe a fox, and it could work well. Depends how you play, what kind of formation you use, and so on. For me personally, I use a lone striker, so it's a non-starter for me. Not a fan, but if that does work for you, the playing style, like I say, some improvements in the attributes on the ball there. Some are a little bit down from his base card, but on the whole, it is a decent version of him. But I would just be mindful of the fact that he doesn't have first time shot. It's a big miss, but if he suits you with the play style and so on, then yeah, it could be a good card. So onto Bernardo Silva, and again, not a lot of change in terms of the play style. The positions all pretty much the same. And again, not the best version we've had of him, but a decent one. In terms of on the ball, attacking player, this time they've only nerfed one of the attributes. It's just dribbling. His ball control and tight possession are pretty much the same as his GP card. Dribbling is down. Again, don't know why they've done that. It's annoying. Wish they'd stopped doing it, but they've done it. So keep that in mind. Dribbling is not as good as his base card. Outside of that, pretty similar to his base card, to be honest. There's not a lot of difference. You know, a bit of a boost across the board. Obviously, his overall rating is up a bit, but nothing really major standing out to me, unless I'm missing something. Looking at the skills though, they've taken away again sombrero. They don't want anyone to have sombrero on this pack for some reason, but no sombrero, no Scotch move, and they've replaced them with double touch and one touch pass. So like with Griezmann, we've had a really nice addition there. So for Bernardo Silva, he's very much a creative playmaker. One touch pass to go with through passing. He's already got pinpoint crossing, low lofted pass, long range curler, long range shooting there as well. I don't think he's quick enough to play out wide on the right, but as an attack midfielder, and likewise centre mid, he's not got a defensive ability there. I think this guy is very much an attacking midfielder. The speed, as a creative playmaker, I don't think it's too important. If you like your attacking midfielders to have more pace, that might frustrate you, but I think with that playing style, that's fine. You get away with it. Acceleration is decent, great balance, stamina is good. He might have had his dribbling nerfed, but he's still very tidy on the ball with the control and tight possession. Attacking awareness is good. Like I say, with one touch pass added to through passing now, and with 85 low pass, he's got some good passing on him. Long range curler, long range shooting. Game plan boost will get his finishing up to 80, so he's got a good shot on him as well. It might not be the best version of Bernardo Silva, but if you don't have a good version of him already, I think it is a good card, a very good card. If you like a creative playmaker in that attacking midfield position, especially with him having added one touch pass, I think maybe not the best version of Bernardo Silva, but it's certainly a good one. So yeah, if you don't have a good version of him, and if you like this kind of player, good card to pick up. So our first booster, and we have Dembélé. So with Dembélé, again, same playing style and positions. I've not changed anything in terms of where he can play or the playing style. They have nerfed him on the ball. So a reduction to his ability on the ball, again, for a player whose main strength is on the ball. Even with the A form booster, we'll hit the booster straight away. So there we see with the booster, we get a bit of kicking power, a bit of physical contact. Finishing, nice. And ball control goes up a bit, but even with A form on the full booster, still not quite as good on the ball as his GP card. So yeah, I'll try not to keep ranting on about that, but it is utterly stupid. Outside of that, lofted passes had a very nice boost, and his finishing likewise. So that's good, a bit more end product, because his end product usually isn't the best. If we look at his skills, they have taken away cut behind and turn and Rabona, and they've given him rising shot and first time shot. So that helps with his finishing. He's already got a boost to his finishing attribute, so he's going to be much more effective with his shooting. He's already got through passing and pinpoint crossing. With lofted pass at 80, his crossing is a lot more viable now. Got a bunch of skill moves there and soul control, so he's going to be really nice on the ball. Even if they've nerfed him on the ball compared to his GP card, he's still great on the ball. Still got great pace. Balance is reasonable, and like I say, with lofted pass and finishing both going up, that helps with his end product. Be careful with his passing. He might have through passing, but low pass isn't the best. It never is with Dembélé. But as long as you don't ask too much of him, his passing should be okay. Crossing, like I say, Curl's going to get to 80 with the game plan boost as well. Lofted pass at 80 now. He should have a reasonable cross on him. And finishing as well. Again, he's got some shooting skills. He's got first time shot. 81 for finishing now, pre-game plan boost. So he's very capable of scoring goals for you. And he's about as two-footed as any player is. Inconsistent form, that's a bit of a shame. But yeah, ultimately, you've got a guy with Dembélé who you can play on the left or on the right. Very two-footed. Cut inside. He can shoot. He can cross. Not got amazing crossing, but he can put a cross in. Shooting, crossing. His passing's not too bad now. Yeah, it's a very, very decent card, this. It's a shame. I keep ranting about it, and I won't stop until they stop doing it. But when you've got a player who's pretty much all about dribbling, why would you make a card based on him being at the top of his game and make him worse at dribbling? It's just nonsensical. But, yeah, in isolation, good version of Dembélé. Pace, good on the ball, bit of end product about him. I'll be very happy if we pick this guy up. I think he's versatile and he could be very effective. He's going to be a lot of fun to use. Yeah, it's a good card in the whole. It's just that ability on the ball being nerfed that is just really frustrating. Second booster card in the pack. So we got Valverde. It's an interesting one with Valverde. So the only change I've made in terms of play style and positions, he's got the usual play style. He's got the same position as usual, but they've added right midfield. They made him a right midfielder. I'm not sure how many people would want to use him there. You can certainly use him there, but I don't know if that's where he's best. It's an interesting build that they've done on this Valverde card. So the one most significant thing that I want to point out, compared to his GP card, they've nerfed his passing significantly. I think it goes up to about 88 low pass in his GP card, and we've got 83 on here. This is again, I don't understand it. You've got a card for a player based on him being one of the best performing players in the quarterfinals of the Champions League, and arguably the most significant attribute he's got, you've nerfed it by about 5. Like, somebody please make sense of this to me. It's just so silly. But they've done that, whatever their reasons, so that's something you've got to keep in mind. The good news is they boosted his finishing, they boosted his defensive attributes. His physical contact is up a bit as well. That's a nice boost. And his balance is up a little bit as well. He needed the boost there. It's still not great. Looking at his skills, they've added first time shot and track back. He's already got 1 touch pass and 3 passing. Crucial if you play him centre mid, which is where he usually plays. He's got some shooting skills as well. So with his finishing getting boosted and with some shooting skills there, he should have a pretty tidy shot on him. Down there you see track back, interception, fighting spirit. So he's got some defensive skills as well to go with some nice defensive attributes. If we hit the booster to see what happens when he's in A form, it's, what do they call it? Hard worker. So again, it's the one that Albert Ferrer had recently, the new legend version of Ferrer. So we've got aggression, acceleration, physical contact, stamina. He's quick in his normal card, more physical strength, more stamina, defensively stronger. Interesting they boosted those areas of Valverde and nerfed him where it's really important, because I look at Valverde and think, well, he's got to be playing centre midfield. That's where he's best. That's his position. But for a 5-star centre midfielder, he's okay on the ball, but he's not brilliant. His attacking awareness is a little bit low, and they've nerfed his passing. So it's frustrating. So I'm thinking, do I want to play him centre mid? I'm not really sure. In a way, I wish they'd given him defensive midfield to be able to play there. I appreciate he didn't play there in these matches, so it wouldn't have made sense. But just based on the way his attributes are weighted here, if you could play him, this guy's a DMF, have him maybe in a double pivot, it could be fantastic because he's strong defensively. But yeah, as a centre mid, like I say, I think going forward, his attributes are just not quite as high as I'd like them to be, so it's frustrating. But with the defensive ability, in a kind of double pivot in there, if you want him doing a lot of the defensive work for you, he could be really effective. It could be a really interesting version of Valverde. On the right, I don't think he's got enough offensive ability to play as a kind of wide right forward. But as a right midfielder, I think he could be a really interesting option as a wing back. If you play with a 3 at the back, so maybe play a 3-4-3 or a 3-5-2, that kind of formation where you have wing backs. If you look at the attributes on this guy, pretty good pace, great stamina. He's got very good defensive attributes as a wing back, and he's tidy enough technically if you play him in that role. Then you look at the skills he's got. Granted, he's not got pinpoint crossing, which I would like on a wing back, but he's got some shooting ability. He's got 1 touch pass and 3 passing, track back, interception, fighting spirit. With the stamina, the engine he's got on him, defensive ability, I think if you play with wing backs, this guy could be a brilliant right wing back. Maybe that's where they wanted to play him, and he obviously wasn't a wing back in these matches for Madrid because they play a right back behind him. He plays a kind of somewhat unorthodox right midfielder, really. But yeah, on eFootball, if you play with wing backs, I think that could be where he's best. As a right wing back, could be a fantastic card. But yeah, depending how you want to use him as a centre mid, could be very effective there. Just I think he's a little bit lacking with the offensive attributes, but certainly defensively and physically, they're giving him a nice boost. So maybe not the best version of Valverde you could get, but certainly it's a very interesting one, and depending on how you use him, could be a very effective card. And now Gvardiol. So for me, this is the pick of this pack. This is a left-back version of Gvardiol. They made him a left-back, they made him an attacking full-back. He's normally a build-up centre-back. Can still play centre-back. He's got the attributes for it, but he's nowhere near as good. They've taken away quite a bit from his defensive attributes. This is one case where I can understand them nerfing certain attributes because he wasn't all about the defensive work in these games. They based this card on when he played in the game where he wasn't about those attributes. So taking those attributes, taking a whole bunch of points away from those attributes is fine because they've added them where it's really important for this card being based on him as a left back, and that's down the left hand side primarily. They've made him a lot better technically, so he's tidy enough on the ball for a left back. He's got good passing, low and especially lofted for a full back. Pace at full back is not as high as I think most people would like it to be, but you can certainly get away with it. I think his pace is just about okay because he's normally a centre back at 6'1". The jumping, the physical, his ability in the air is very good. He's physically and aerially very strong for a full back. Not the best bounce, again, because he's a centre-back playing at left-back, so you kind of expect that. Stamina's alright, 87, that's fine. I think they've boosted his weaker foot. He obviously scored a really nice goal on his right foot. If we look at the skills, and we'll come to the booster in a second, they have taken away weighted pass, long throw, and acrobatic clearance. I think the only one I'd really miss out of those is acrobatic clearance, a bit of a shame, but what have they added? They've added long range curler, long range shooting. Not sure they're overly important. They've added through passing now. That's a nice bonus for a fullback. He's already got heading, aerial superiority. Like I say, he'll be really strong in the air for a fullback. And then he's got man marking, interception, blocker, fighting spirit. For a fullback, the defensive skills he's got, fantastic. He's got a really fantastic set of skills for a fullback defensively. And then going forward, pinpoint crossing already and through passing. So on the ball for a fullback, he's not much of a dribbler, but he's got some ability going forward. He's got a bit of product on him. Defensive attributes for a fullback are really strong. Like I say, the pace is okay, and then physically and aerially very strong. So, and that's before we've activated the booster. So we'll activate the booster, and we get some technicals. So he's even tidier on the ball, and the low pass goes higher as well. This, for me, is a really, really nice left back. In an ideal world, he'd have a bit more pace and a bit more balance on him, but when you bear in mind all the strengths that he's got and the skill set that he's got, I don't think you can really complain too much. Like I say, you can get away with him as a centre-back, certainly. He's got good pace for a centre-back, and the attributes are okay, but I think for a version of Gvardiol, other version of Gvardiol can be trained to be a much better centre-back. This guy is very much a left-back version. If you're going to play this guy as a left-back, as an attacking left-back, he's got loads of ability. I think he's great. I think for those of us who a lot of us like to use defensive fullbacks, put a defensive instruction on him, I think he could be an absolutely brilliant defensive left-back. So yeah, whichever way you use your fullbacks, this, for me, in my personal opinion, is the best card in the pack. I think it's a really, really good card, really good left back, and it's probably my number one pick that I'm going to hope to get when I spin this pack. So, last card in the pack, Hakimi. Changed him to an attacking fullback from a fullback finisher, so he's not going to go drifting inside as much. That, for me personally, is a positive. In terms of the attributes, they've nerfed his lower body, so the speed, the kicking power especially, and the stamina are all down a bit from his GP card. His technicals are up a bit though. He's had a bit of a boost down that left-hand side. Skill-wise, they've taken away penalty specialist, and they've given him interception. That's a big addition. So as a fullback, I think that's the most important skill. I think most people would agree interception is the most important skill for fullback to have. So that's a really important addition. Already got sliding tackle, acrobatic clearance, fighting spirit. So he's got some good skills for a fullback. Defensively, then going forward, already got pinpoint crossing. I don't see long range curler really come into the equation a lot. A few skill moves for the skillers, but yeah, good selection of skills for a fullback. He's quick, fantastic stamina. Defensively, those attributes with the game plan boost should all go 80 plus, so that's great. So defensively strong. For me, I think it just comes down to this left column. If you don't mind your fullback not being too great on the ball, certainly his dribbling is okay, but outside of that, it's these other attributes. The ball control is not brilliant. Tight possession is terrible. Low pass is really bad. Lofted pass isn't brilliant. He does have pinpoint crossing, but I think you want that lofted pass to be out toward the 80 mark, so it could be a bit better, but certainly the low pass and some of these attributes on the ball if you don't mind those, a lot of people don't, then I think this could be a really, really useful fullback for you. Got the pace and the stamina, and he's certainly got the defensive attributes and some good defensive skills. But for me personally, I like my fullbacks to be a bit more comfortable on the ball, so I don't like the look of this guy. I know it sounds harsh because ultimately it's a very good card. It's a decent, very decent version of Hakimi, especially with interception added, but it just comes down to these attributes here. Like I say, for me personally, he looks horrible on the ball. I had I've mentioned before, I got I think it was Estupinian from Brighton in Player of the Week. Must have been about a year ago now. He had some good attributes, good pace and everything, but his tight possession was at a similar level to this, and you really felt it. I hated it, and I released him after, I think, 2 games. So that attribute especially, but likewise, the ball control and low pass could be better. So for me personally, some attributes there, and I think probably for some others as well, could be pretty frustrating. But on the whole, got a lot of qualities, a lot of what you want from a fullback. And if you don't mind some of those attributes being a bit low with the skills, with the attributes, yeah, it's just a very good, very quick, very capable fullback. So, and if you put the defensive instruction on him as well, like with Gvardiol, I think it could even be a very effective defensive fullback, which sounds a bit crazy for Hakimi because he's such an attacking fullback in real life. But just looking at the attributes, could be really effective if you use them that way as well. So yeah, a couple of things that could concern some people, but ultimately it's a good fullback card. So there you go. As I mentioned at the beginning, this is a good strong pack. You've got 3 players who are 93 rated. I think 2 of those are pretty good, to be honest. I think Nacho and Gnabry both good cards. I think Raphinha with the nerf to his ability on the ball is really frustrating, and that kind of spoils the card a bit. But the rest of the cards are all 95 rated, and I think depending on what kind of players you like, these could all be very good cards for a lot of people, to be honest. I think Gvardiol was my pick personally from the pack. I think Dembélé could be a lot of fun. Got a great goalkeeper there. A lot of good cards in that pack, really. I think it's a pretty strong pack on the whole. So, yeah, hopefully you found that interesting. Let me know who you've spun if you've had a spin on this pack. Thank you for watching, as always, and I'll see you soon.